recent minute-long preview for Deadpool and Wolverine gave us official confirmation of another returning face from the X-Men cinematic past. Tyler Mane is back as Sabretooth, playing the character for the first time since the original X-Men movie in 2000. This will be the third live-action movie appearance by Sabretooth, though his previous two films gave us very different interpretations of the character. But he's not the only classic X-Men movie character rumored to be returning in the sure-to-be-hit film this summer. Let's take a little stroll down X-Men memory lane, shall we, and look back at the history of the Sabertooths, Sabertooths, as well as some of the characters who seem poised to return in cameos, or maybe more, in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Us? A team? The answer is yes. Shake on it. Ah, you nicked it. Just got the tip with your little steak knife.
In the comics, the clawed, vicious Sabretooth is one of Wolverine's most notable and frequent foes, so it makes sense he was used as one of Magneto's Brotherhood in the first X-Men film, in the process giving Hugh Jackman's cinematic Logan someone he could go toe-to-toe with. X-Men was the first prominent film role for former wrestler Mane, but the hulking actor would go on to appear in many other projects, including playing Ajax in Troy and Michael Myers in both of Rob Zombie's Halloween films. An amnesiac when we meet him, Wolverine Logan doesn't seem to know Sabretooth at all in the first X-Men movie, but the same can't be said for Sabretooth. It's subtle, but there are signs of some previous history between these two, marked by Sabretooth deciding to take Logan's dog tags during their first battle. Even more notably, after he shows the dog tags to Magneto and Magneto discards them on his desk, Sabretooth makes a point of going back to get them for himself, seemingly finding some significance that goes beyond giving his boss information on their opponents. When the X-Men battle the Brotherhood at the Statue of Liberty, Sabretooth is now wearing Logan's dog tags, though Wolverine gets them back during their fight.
This is mine.
Sabretooth is ultimately defeated when he's shot by one of Cyclops' optic blasts, sending him flying off the statue and onto a nearby boat. Chronologically, that is the last time we'd see Sabretooth in the X-Men films, since the next and only time he shows up again, until Deadpool and Wolverine that is, would be in a prequel.
Shiny.
2009's much-maligned X-Men Origins Wolverine would bring Sabretooth back in a much bigger role, though he would also feel like a very different version of the character. It's not just that Liev Schreiber was playing him this time rather than Tyler Mane, but also that he looked so different stylistically. He wears sleek, dark clothing and sports short, dark hair rather than the big, draping furs and long blonde hair and accompanying dramatically big blonde eyebrows that Mane was given.
I'm afraid of dying.
How do you know? You've never tried it before.
On top of that, Schreiber's Sabretooth had quite a lot to say compared to Mane's version, who only had a few lines of dialogue and seemed more at home glowering and snarling than trading barbs with his opponents. Like his comics counterpart, it turned out that movie Sabretooth was named Victor Creed, but the history between Victor and Logan was deepened considerably in Origins. While it was only implied in the first X-Men, it's confirmed here that he also has a healing power, like Wolverine, and is likewise centuries old. But whereas the comics use this fact to say their rivalry reaches incredibly far back in the past, Origins instead gave them a much closer relationship, initially making them half-brothers who grew up as best friends, and eventually comrades in arms as they fought together in one war after another through the decades. Eventually, though, Sabretooth's increasingly dark actions and intentions lead to a split between them, which turns into outright hatred as Sabretooth aligns himself with William Stryker, helping Stryker kidnap mutants for his experiments. Sabretooth also hopes Stryker will give him the same adamantium bonding process Logan was given, though Stryker reneges on the deal, claiming Sabretooth wouldn't survive it.
Give me the adamantium.
Test came.
We had a deal!
You would never survive the operation.
At the film's conclusion, Sabretooth and Wolverine do briefly team up again to battle and defeat Stryker's seemingly unstoppable Weapon 11, aka Wade Wilson, aka the worst version of Deadpool imaginable. They stitched up the merc with a mouth's mouth? When Logan insists this changes nothing and he still wants nothing to do with him, Victor replies they are still brothers, seemingly indicating some wish to reconcile. Not that we saw that reconciliation side reflected in Sabretooth's actions in X-Men. It soon doesn't matter from Logan's perspective anyway, because moments after they part ways in Origins, he loses his memories and doesn't even know who Victor is anymore. Ha! Adamantium bullets, huh? There was a lot of talk that Liev Schreiber would be returning as Sabretooth in 2017's acclaimed Logan, with Schreiber confirming there were conversations about it. Ultimately, that didn't come to be, though screenwriter Scott Frank later explained a bit about story ideas for Sabretooth they dabbled with. However, the Wolverine clone Logan battles in the final version of the movie, played by Jackman, naturally, sure is made to look very similar to the Schreiber version of Sabretooth. Now, though, it's Tyler Mane who is confirmed to be coming back as Sabretooth, the second alumni from the original X-Men trilogy, not counting Jackman himself, that we know for sure is in the movie, after Aaron Stanford as Pyro. You remember him, the student at Xavier's school who was friends with Rogue and Iceman before being tempted over to Magneto's dark side and blowing a lot of stuff up with his fire powers. Yeah, you remember that. Earlier trailers have also shown glimpses from afar of many familiar characters from those films, including what looks to be Deathstrike, Callisto, and more, though it remains to be seen if they will once more be played by the same actors. And of course, any and all of these apparent cameos could be cut before the film is released, so keep that in mind too. But a little refresher just in case. In X2, Kelly Hu played Deathstrike, who is known in the comics as Lady Deathstrike. In the film, she worked for Brian Cox's Stryker and sported an adamantium skeleton and nails, if not much personality. Wolverine defeated her by injecting her with adamantium. That's smarts. Dania Ramirez appeared as Callisto in X-Men: The Last Stand. Best known as the leader of the underground cabal of mutants in the comics called the Morlocks, this version of Callisto has super speed and can sense the power level of any mutant she encounters. Until Storm does this to her anyway. After that, I don't know, maybe we'll find out. Speaking of which, another victim of Storm's lightning was Tyler Mane's original X-Men co-star, Ray Park. The former Darth Maul actor has hinted that he may be back as Toad, and fans think they've spotted him in the trailers. A younger version of the character also appeared in X-Men: Days of Future Past. And while fans think they've spotted X-Men: The Last Stand's Vinnie Jones in the pre-release material for Deadpool and Wolverine, the Juggernaut actor says he turned down an offer to return for the film because of the mental toll of wearing the character's suit.
You can't do anything all day, you can only drink through a straw, and so we couldn't strike the deal for Deadpool.
Of course, it could be that a different actor will don the Juggernaut armor instead.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Or, like in Deadpool 2, where he also showed up, it'll be a performance capture version of old Juggy.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
That is such a Juggernaut thing to say.
Azazel from X-Men First Class. Jason Fleming played him in that film, where he was a member of the Hellfire Club. He joins Magneto's ranks by the end of First Class, but was seemingly killed off-screen before Days of Future Past. And no, Storm did not electrocute this one. Meanwhile, The Hollywood Reporter, reported last summer that Jennifer Garner would be back as Elektra, another refugee from the Fox Marvel movie universe. A version of the Russian, a Punisher villain who also appears to be in the film, or maybe it's just a guy who likes to wear striped sleeveless t-shirts too. And it looks like Goliath, the giant smoke monster thing from the Loki TV show, will also show up, which makes sense since Deadpool and Wolverine is connected to Loki via the presence of the TVA and the Multiverse. Goliath hangs out in the void at the end of time, which we assume is where the Merc with a Mouth and Logan are going to encounter a lot of these variant cameos. It certainly looks like Deadpool and Wolverine will be addressing the history of the X-Men movies under 20th Century Fox prior to the studio's sale to Disney in a big way. You can see the giant destroyed 20th Century Fox logo glimpsed in earlier trailers more prominent than ever in the new preview. And it's expected there will be plenty of other familiar faces showing up. And the combination of Deadpool's already innately meta nature and this story's multiverse shenanigans makes it feel possible we could even get appearances by more than one actor who's played the same role in the past. So, we'll see if Liev Schreiber joins Tyler Mane to give us twice the Sabertooth. Saberteeth. See, Saberteeth sounds better this time, now that Liev Schreiber's involved. But who do you hope to see show up in the movie? Should Cyclops finally get his due? Will Professor Xavier come back to life again? Which Jean Grey are you hoping for? Oh, and do you really think Taylor Swift is going to show up? Let's discuss in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.
Okay, good luck. I'm a huge fan.